y'all know I'm not afraid to bring the heat when it comes to controversial or uncomfortable topics. And that's what we're going to do today, my friends. I was literally sitting here. This is episode 191. We are getting so close to 200. And I have all these topic ideas, but there's always one that just pulls at me. And this is very top of mind with some of the things that I'm just working through in my personal / working life. But I also think there's some really valuable information in just having this conversation of peer-to-peer relationships and when the heck is it appropriate, if ever, to sell to someone that is like a peer to you or in the same network or in the same circle. So let's get a little uncomfortable and talk about this peer-to-peer selling topic. What do you say? Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. I help creative business owners and artists build communities around your brand so that business is easy and profitable. When you stay in action, yes, I mean even messy action, only good things happen. We are always learning. And when we can get just as excited about the lessons as the results, magic happens. I've helped $1 million companies with their marketing, but my mission in this world is to help you step into the best possible version of yourself so you can create your dream business too. We believe in community and people over strategies and tactics. Our theme here at the Messy Success Podcast is the 1% adventure, where we're focusing on getting 1% better every single day. I want you to color outside the lines and embrace the messy journey to take daily action towards your goals. If you've noticed a plateau in your business, we've created a very quick quiz where you can find out your next best move. Head over to elizabethhenson.co/next to find out. Now let's get started. All right, first off, I want to say, if you're avoiding hard conversations in your life, in your business, even on your social platforms, you are avoiding opportunities to step into the best possible leader that you can be. And that doesn't mean like that we should go crazy and talk about these things while they're raw and real and emotional, because we don't ever want to speak from a place that's irrational. We want to speak from a very grounded, powerful, 10 out of 10 confident place. Okay. But I don't want you to shy away from difficult conversations because you're worried about how people might receive it or what people might think, etc. People will receive it with the power in which you deliver it. Okay. So the only way to improve on that, the only way to build your confidence, to flex these leadership muscles, is to do it and to have some that are 5 out of 10s or to have some flops or to have some 8 out of 10 performances so that you can get closer. Because we all know the only thing that builds confidence is actual action. Taking action builds confidence. It doesn't just miraculously appear that you believe in yourself, but when you take enough action and you realize that these discomforts and these failures aren't going to ruin you, as long as you don't let them, you'll continue to get stronger and more powerful each time. And of course, taking some training on leadership, learning about yourself, learning about the 2 versions of yourself. We all have 2 versions of ourselves. Some people refer to it as the inner child. I like to look at it as like the leader version of me and then kind of like the little safety version of me. But we all have these 2 versions. And I think the best leaders really learn how to communicate between the two, as weird as that sounds. So this conversation is coming up for a couple reasons. My coaching business has really kind of expanded here in Hampton Roads, where a lot of my clients are local. And because they're local and a lot of them are service-based, like it's kind of incestual, and we're all working with each other, we're all investing in each other, and we've been laughing about it because we're like, oh my gosh, do we really have businesses, or are we all just, incestually working with each other? And it's funny, and it's all great, and it's all fine. So I don't want to discourage working with your peers, but there's also a very nuanced line of how this happens and how to keep it appropriate and what this looks like. And I know this is a really important conversation. And while, yes, so many of my friends and I work with each other, I want to lead with, I do not recommend selling to your peers. Okay? Your peers are not your prospects. Look at them as your colleagues. And when I say peers, I want you to think about the circles that you're in. If you're in a mastermind, a group program, some type of learning container, in a shared space of vulnerability and growth, when you pitch in that space, you're really shifting the energy away from collaboration and into not necessarily competition, but this buying, selling atmosphere. So we are going to get to why it does work sometimes and how you get there. But the core idea behind this episode is that peers are not your prospects, okay? They already know what you do. They're in this vulnerable container with you. If they want to work with you, they'll ask. It's not a secret what you do, right? And your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to lead by example. So, respect the circle. And I always think about this, like when I am inside Business by Design with James Wedmore, or even our more intimate container where it's just the coaches, I would never sell to someone in that container. In fact, I always push people towards collaboration. Like if someone is like, oh, I'm really interested in what you do, let's work together. I'm like, let's just jump on a call. Like, let's talk about this. Like, you and I are in this together. We are peers, right? That coach to coach relationship is so sacred to me. I would never want to disrupt that by charging someone money. We've built this beautiful relationship where we all collaborate and we all help each other. And that's when these containers really thrive, right? Now, that doesn't mean if they just go on my website and buy something or purchase a strategy call with me that I'm going to turn away their money. Okay, that is completely different. Or if they're sitting in a seat at my event and they sign up for my program. Okay, that was 10 out of 10. They're buying energy, shopping with what I have to offer, and just purchasing it. There was no conversation. They did not approach me saying, do you think I need this? They literally took it upon themselves to go invest. And that's the line. That's what I mean. So even though I have students, community members inside Elevate, when I choose to work with them, that's how I'm going about it. I'm literally saying, I want this thing, send me the invoice. There is no selling conversation from them. Okay. And I really am seeing more proof of this in my business. And I really believe that when we show up fully expressed and in our power, this is how selling works in general, right? So there's a time and a place for the one-to-one reach outs and the one-to-one follow-ups, specifically after someone has come to you with that curiosity. But if you are loud and proud enough about what you do and the transformation that you provide or the products that you create, You don't actually have to do any of that selling. They are going to know you exist and they are going to come. Now, that's not coming from a naive, if you build it, they will come place. We have to have systems. We have to have a marketing ecosystem, right? But I do very, very little of the individual reach outs in the form of selling. I do it to relationship build. I just checked in on someone I love dearly yesterday who's not even in any of my programs. You know, I know she kind of wants to be, but I can also look at her business model and say that's not the right time, and I'm okay with that. But she just had her best revenue month. And when she told me that, I got goosebumps the same way I would if she was a paying client, because I really care about her success. And I know how hard it is to have a brick and mortar and to have overhead and to be the first year in business. And that win for her felt like a win for the community. And it was so beautiful. And these are the relationships that I'm building. And you guys can hear the authenticity in that story. Like, I mean it. Like, I am here for the greater good. I am not here to just make a sale. And that's the difference. Okay? That's the difference, that frequency that you are putting out. So just remember, when you are in a program with somebody, when you are in someone else's space, someone else is the leader, respect the circle. And if you show up and you're sharing and you're vulnerable, everyone's going to know what you do. And they will trust you and they will want to work with you if you're solving a problem that they have. So trust that. Okay. Here's another one that I love as I was journaling on this. Peers are not your leads. They're witnesses to your evolution. Your peers see your work, your evolution, and your energy, and that's enough. If they feel called to work with you, they will initiate. There's no pitch needed. How many of you have been in a container where somebody opened up their heart like a can of worms and you're like, I want to work with somebody? That energy is real and that energy happens. And consent. Oh, you guys know I love that phrase, consent marketing. Okay? So if someone is asking you about your program, or they're asking you how to work with you, they are giving you consent to sell to them in that moment. They are giving you consent to market. And that's really important too. And context matters. So consent and context are really important. So just because someone follows you and engages with you does not always mean they're a potential client, especially if it's a horizontal relationship. You want to keep that energy really clean. Okay, that peer-to-peer relationship, you want to keep it clean. As soon as you start asking for that transaction, you're going to muddy that a little bit. And another thing, this is my opinion, but I believe that selling to your peers often comes from a place of scarcity. So if you're out in the world and you're selling your program that works so well, why are you selling to your peers? It doesn't make sense. That's scarcity. If you are claiming your wild success based on your systems and your programs and the way that you help people, why are you selling in someone else's container? Why are you showing up in someone else's Facebook group to sell? Why are you not doing this on your own stage? Right? Build your own stage. That's going to be the most powerful stage that you can ever sell from. So if you're loud and consistent on your own stage and you're clear about your value to your audience and the public, you won't actually have to sell to the people who are sitting next to you. The right clients are going to find you through that ripple effect. And the people beside you might want to work with you as well, but they're going to be more likely to want to work with you because you're loud and proud about the value that you provide, not because you approached them about your upcoming launch and do they want to join? There's such a difference. And it's, once you become aware of it, it's so clear when people are doing it and when they're operating from this peer-to-peer respect. And I know the question in the back of your mind is like, well, how do I know if someone's my peer? And to me, it's the container. Okay. When you are in a container, someone else is hosting an event. My friend Megan and I both host meetups and they're free, right? But I would never go to her meetup and sell to the people in those seats. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't follow up with them and be like, hey, did you see my program? Hey, are you struggling in your business? Hey, do you need help with XYZ? No. But now if somebody approached me at the meetup and they're like, I really want to hear more about what it is that you do, there's that consent marketing piece, right? And because Megan and I are such beautiful, collaborative peers, you know, she rolls out the red carpet and invites me to speak at her meetups. And we did, I think I told you guys, we did this fun Shark Tank thing and I got voted to teach at one of her meetups. So of course, when you speak in front of an audience, people are going to want to work with you. But I never do any, you know, aggressive follow-ups or anything like that. I just trust and surrender to the universe that if I'm putting out my work, just like this podcast, if I'm continuing to put out the things that I believe in and how I can help people, the right people are going to step forward, right? That's how we shop. That's how our mind works. And that's just one of my core beliefs. And it's not that I think selling is icky at all. It's not that. I don't think selling is icky. I think we should all be really proud of the transformations that we provide and how we help people. And selling is just part of the helping people process. But this is a lesson on personal power. And when you can really hold on to that personal power and trust that you don't need to sell in these sacred containers, it's going to happen anyway. It's going to be a byproduct of you being the incredible human being that you are. Okay? So that clarity is more important than the convincing. So peers, the people sitting next to you, they don't need another DM pitch. They just want to see you and cheer you on living your purpose. Your clarity around that purpose is going to create curiosity. Okay. That alignment does the heavy lifting for you. So this isn't a copy and paste system on how to sell, how to get rich, how to pitch, the perfect messaging, the perfect this, the perfect that. This is a frequency that comes from your alignment and your ability to live your purpose and to create curiosity among the people watching. Okay. And here's an important one. Your reputation is part of your brand. So when you sell in the wrong rooms and it comes off as transactional, you're going to repel, right? Stay focused on being the kind of human that people refer to, not the one they feel sold by or sold to. I'm not sure the right way to say that. Okay. So you be focused on your leadership energy, on your 10 out of 10 power, and be the person that people are referring. Not the one that you're like, oh, yes, she's wonderful, but if you hang out with her, she's going to sell to you. Don't be that person. Don't be that person, right? Serve your audience, not the room. Serve your audience, not the room or the container, virtual, in person, it doesn't matter, that someone else has created. Create content and offers for the people who actually need your solution or people who have the problem that you solve, not the people that are sitting next to you at the table. And again, there's nothing wrong with working with your peers. I have paid a ton of my peers. I'm like setting aside a little bit of money right now because I want to join someone's program who's been in Elevate for over a year. But she's not in my DMs asking me to. I just know that it exists. I know that it's something I want to be part of because of how she shows up in the world, not because of how she's showing up for me, right? And it could be how they're showing up for you in the form of just helping. My peers, the people in the containers that I'm in, my mastermind peers, people in Business by Design, the other coaches that I work with, like I would help them at zero cost because that's who I am. And because they're not coming to me saying, hey, can I get on your calendar every other week for an hour of help? No, that would be the opportunity where I'd be like, sure, this is how you can work with me. 100% acceptable to draw that line. But when they just come to me in a conversation and say, hey, what do you think about a webinar launch versus a challenge launch? I'm not going to say, oh, here's how you can work with me. I'm going to have that real conversation with them and provide my genuine expertise and advice or opinions. If I'm going to coach them, I'll probably get consent. Like, hey, do you want some coaching around this? I can ask you some questions. I'm happy to do that in these appropriate containers. But like I said, they're not coming to me saying, hey, can I join your program for free? Can I get on your calendar? I think the right peer-to-peer relationships, as you continue to elevate the rooms that you're in, as you continue to find your 10 out of 10 power, you're not going to attract people that are breaking those boundaries because you know how to hold your boundaries. I always say my boundaries are no one else's responsibility but mine. So my students get 24-hour access to Vox Me. They can Vox me whenever they want. I don't care if it's midnight. They can leave me a message. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, don't worry about when or where, because it's my responsibility on the receiving end to check that message at an appropriate time for me. So if they message me at midnight, which totally doesn't happen, by the way, but if it did, if they're in a different time zone or whatever, I'm just going to check it in the morning when I'm walking my dog, when I'm checking all my other messages. That is my responsibility. I'm getting sassy, y'all, but I can't stand it when people complain about their clients reaching out to them at inappropriate times. I can't believe they called me after business hours. Well, why'd you pick up the phone? Our actions teach people how to treat us. And that's probably why I don't have a boundary issue with my students or with my peers, because I'm showing them through my actions what is appropriate and what I will tolerate. And that selling, receiving energy is the same. It's the same. There are people that have a very sharky reputation that have never tried to sell to me. They will sell to everyone in the room but me, right? Because I am showing people how to treat me with my actions. And I don't know what I'm doing. I can't define why that happens, but it definitely happens. So, pay attention. Pay attention to how people are treating you and how that might be a mirror of how you're showing up in the world, right? If it's bothering you when somebody does DM you, just get curious about that. And I will put people in their place sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, like I kind of thought we were in this program together. I already know what you do. No, I don't know that I get that direct, but like I said, it's not really an issue for me, but I know that it happens and that it exists and that this is just an awkward conversation because I'm the one creating a lot of these containers. And I know there's people with selling energy. And then I know that there's really genuine peer-to-peer connections that are ending in collaboration. That's so beautiful. That are ending in people working with each other voluntarily with consent, which is also so beautiful. And I encourage that. I encourage you guys to work with each other in these containers but people will buy when they're ready. We don't have to bring that selling energy. Just focus on the greater good and the work that you're doing and building your stage and your audience. And I promise it will pay off. I just had 2 people reach out to me in the last 7 days asking to get on a call with me to learn about my program. I did 0 to encourage that, other than my normal podcast episode, sending emails to my list, posting on social media, my marketing ecosystem. That's all I did. And they approached me. I want to hear about your program. And that's the secret, or the magic, I should say. It's not really a secret. That's the magic, y'all. And if that leaves me making a little bit less money than someone who's a little more sharky, I'm okay with that, because my reputation is more important to me in the long run than just getting more dollars in the bank. Because I know what I'm building is really special. And I know what I'm building is here for the long haul. And I know that it's making a difference in the world. And I stand so confident and true to that I don't really care. The money takes care of itself. The money comes when it's meant to come. I don't need to focus every day on who can I DM today? Who can I sell today? Now I might say, who can I check in on today? Who might need some encouragement today? Whose day might it make if I just DM them and say, hello, how's it going? Yes, totally. And if you're listening to this and like none of this is really resonating, or it is resonating, then that's great. You're probably not doing anything wrong, and nothing is wrong. This is how we learn. Oh my gosh, you guys, the amount of times in the last 10 years that I have completely gone against everything that I just shared with you guys, that's how I learned. I used to post in other Facebook groups all the time. Now, I'm not talking about those little, like, they invite you to participate in the marketing thread where it's like Marketing Mondays and you can post your business. Like, that's totally cool. Like, everybody's doing it. I don't feel like that really works. I don't feel like that really gets eyes on you or draws in the right people. But it's totally fine to do that. But I mean, I used to go in people's Facebook groups and like, you know, make posts and try to get people, come look at me, come look at what I'm doing, come check out my podcast. Like, I totally used to do those things. I'm a human being and this is how we learn. And I had to see that it doesn't work. Like, it literally got me no results. Now, what did get results in other Facebook groups, you know, was participating in conversations, helping people in the comment sections in a very ethical way, the same way I would help them if they were sitting next to me at a lunch. That helped. That moved the needle. But, you know, just jumping in other people's containers with the intent of growing your audience or with the intent of selling your products or services isn't typically going to work. Now, when you show up beautifully and open and vulnerably in those containers to seek out what the leader of that container is offering and to get the most out of your experience, when you show up for that, you're going to not only make money, you're going to build powerful relationships, because vulnerability builds trust. So I walk into every room being a student, excited to learn. I don't care if the person sitting next to me has made $0 and they're a startup. If we both invested the same amount of money to be in that room, they are my peer. Are you guys hearing that? They are my peer. I don't care if I'm 10 years ahead of them in business. We invested the same amount to be in the same room. They are my peer. And that's powerful to show up that way. And what a beautiful relationship that can be built on trust and vulnerability and all the right things. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope you walked away feeling empowered to continue to build your own stage, to continue to be really loud and proud about your mission. And yes, to work with your peers, but under that context, that red tape that you know, they already know what you're doing and they'll come to you when they're ready. That's how it's built. Okay, you guys, We are getting so close to 200 episodes. My team and I have been working on how to celebrate what we're going to do. I think it's coming together, but I'm excited. So if you love this episode, please, please, please share it. Leave us a review on iTunes or wherever. And send me a message on Instagram, elizabeth.henson. This was a vulnerable one, so I'd love to hear from you guys if it was helpful. All right. And if you want to join Elevate, if you want to work with me, you can go to elizabethhenson.co/elevate, jump on that priority list, and you'll be able to jump in when enrollment opens. We would absolutely love to have you. It's a magical container and a little incestual. That's a joke, but not really. We are, it's very, very healthy peer-to-peer relationships in there. All right. Bye, you guys.